Hello, good evening, Rod.
Good evening, Peter. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. How's yourself?
Not bad, not bad. You're looking very smart tonight, Peter, might I say.
I like it. My new T-shirt with Tartan Tunes logo on.
Oh, you better zoom in, please zoom in.
See that? We could sell these, eh?
Oh, right. We could sell these. Well, it's funny you say that because nobody's noticed yet, but I've got a...
See that? Look at that. A Tartan Tunes tie. A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so many people joining us there tonight to begin with the show. This is fantastic. Can you please share this as much as possible to anybody that you think would maybe really enjoy the show tonight? If you're not accustomed with how this show runs, what we kind of do is it's a mixture of tunes and chat with the guests. Now, we have got some amazing guests for you tonight. We've got Moira Fraser and Mick Foster from Ireland, exceptionally famous people, and we've got equally famous Simon Bradley from Uist coming on as well, fiddle player, and his wife Anna Wendy Stevenson is actually going to come on and play as well. So I can't wait for tonight. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be great. So what have you been up to? What have you been doing this week?
This week's been mainly erecting Christmas trees and decorating. That's been this week. Busy week.
All right. Yeah.
I'm preparing for a hernia operation as well, actually, which has been a bit busier. So I might not be with you on Wednesday next week.
Yeah, it's okay. We'll beam you in from the hospital bed.
I'll do anything for the rating.
Now, we don't want you coming on if you're going to burst on air or something like that. We just don't want that to happen. That's good. So, anyway, so it's been good. I've been swimming in the sea again today. And Cam was on us too.
The weather that we've had this week has been absolutely bitter cold. Not even a thought of going into any kind of water. Not even going out the house has been that cold.
No, we've had no. There's Alan Barnett over in Canada there. And Isabel Gardner, my heart's pal. That's good. So anyway, right, listen, I think we'll get on with this show tonight because I think it's going to be really cool. I think we're going to have good fun. I'm going to start off with a wee set of tunes, a wee set of reels tonight. And since we're in December and it's Christmas, here's a little bit of... Can I just say before we say that, folks, see when we're playing or any of the musicians are playing, and sometimes the music breaks up a wee bit. Unfortunately, it's all to do with internet speeds and all that kind of stuff. So unfortunately, we just have to make the best of what we've got just now. I'm sure all this software is going to get better and better, but we're doing as much as we can just now. So if you hear stuff cracking or that, sorry about that. But yeah, I'm sure you'll hear everybody speaking, which is a really cool bit about this show. I'm looking forward to everybody's stories. So as a little thing tonight, in the middle of my reels, last week or the week before, we brought out our new band CD. That one, Stepping Up.
Yeah, fantastic, might I say.
Also, the first one called Out of the Shadows, and there's a second one called Into the Light. So, 3 CDs. I'm going to play about 4 bars, if even that, of a Christmas song in the middle of my set of reels. Okay? And if you can name the Christmas song, the first person to name it, Karen will be watching backstage for messages coming in. Whoever names that Christmas song first will get the 3 CDs sent in the post to you. Okay? So we'll find that out after I've played them. So I'm going to play a tune called The New High Level, the Duke and Duchess of Buccleuch's favourite, Mary Printy, and Miss Elizabeth Purcell is what I'm going to play.
Well said, Peter. Well said. You still get your wee box you had?
Yeah, I've still got it.
Tom Cruikshank put a good wee post up for you there.
Do you like my Christmas stuff?
Aye.
Snowflakes.
I know. Tom Cruikshank put a good advert up for you.
Yeah. Tom played one of my tunes, the Squeeze Box Shop. Yeah, it was great. Lovely. Yeah. And he told
was it?
Tell everybody what a Shetland trow is. Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah, it's good. So here we go. Anyway, I'll get going with these. duper duper.
I'm still getting off the microphone there.
Yeah, I saw you tuning up there in the background.
I know.
Well, there we go. That was my wee set of reels. And there was a wee Christmas one in the Carol Floss. Carol, you've probably got all my CDs. Oh well. Never mind. Yeah, we'll get them up to you, Carol. Don't worry. Christmas presents for other people. That's a home for them.
Good stuff.
Great.
A good way to get your music out. We were talking about this just before we came on air. And your 3 CDs that I think are brilliant, and my dad is especially a great fan. Your first one's my favourite. Your middle one's my mum's favourite, and the third one's my dad's favourite. So there's something out there for all the family, indeed.
Great, good. That's good. But we'll get them up to you, Carol. No bother at all. So, Mr. McNaughton, what are you playing for?
A set of tunes that has been inspired by Chris Brown. That's been a great fan of the show. They've been doing a lot of Monroes. Him and his friends have been doing a lot of Monroes, and the Monroes that he sent into the show kind of circle 5 different areas of Scotland that they've been round. So the first sort of circle of mountains that they've been on is the Schiehallion area, which is actually my favourite area as well. So the Schiehallion is the 59th highest Monroe that there is in Scotland. There's Irene. How you doing, Irene? So I'm going to do a set of tunes. Schiehallien's a bit of a standout Monroe. It stands out by itself, and it looks over Loch Rannoch out to the west. And it's Loch Rannoch is one of my favourite tunes. It's where all my grandparents come from, Loch Rannoch actually. So I'm going to start with Loch Rannoch, and then go on a 3/4 retreat called Schiehallion by Pipe Major Donald Shaw, and then I'm going to play Mrs. Stewart of Grantley. Myself and Chris Brown went to Grantley Primary School. That's the wee link there. And then we're going to play General Stewart from Garth, which is on the road between Fortingall and Schiehallion. So
excellent.
We link tunes from that area. It's been great looking at tunes. I would never look at tunes this way, try to put them to an area. And I think it's quite good. It's been a great wee exercise, and I know the other areas that I've looked at, I've picked up tunes that I never have known before. I don't think.
Good.
Or certainly linked into something else. So I'll play them for you.
Magic. Super. Take it away.
Thank you very much.
Good man. Excellent. Good. Can't see that last reel there. It sounds like it would sit right at home in the Northumbrian pipes.
Ah, it's great. Great tune.
That sound there. Really good. Good.
Yeah, great tune.
Well, listen, these guests we've got tonight, I'm just so thankful that folk are coming on the show for us and coming on to speak and enjoy their Sunday nights with us. But it's just braw. It's braw. So I think we'll just get guests coming on, because this young lady I've known for many, many, many years, Moira Fraser, and Moira has brought on with her husband, Mick Foster. Hello, folks. How are you doing?
Hello, Ross. How are you?
No bad.
Now,
How are you?
can I stay before we start? The internet isn't very good here, so I apologise for the signal if it comes and goes.
Yeah, it's just delightful that you can be with us. So,
it's a pleasure. Thank you for asking us.
The only thing about the internet, lads, is that, you know, if we make any, you know, fluff any notes, we'll the harness with the internet going on and on.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's definitely my excuse. That's my excuse for sure.
Yeah, it's a good one to have.
So we're very rusty, but anyway, go on, Matt. We talk more than play, so
yeah, we're good. There's been it's amazing this year, because I work in schools and a lot of the examinations has been done over the internet this year as well. Even the music, and there's some of them, when you hear them in the internet, you think, wait a minute, you can play better than that, and it's just the internet, you know. So it's very difficult to assess something. You know, so.
Kids as well, you know.
Yeah, I would.
The laptop or something.
Yeah, somebody's beat me to it here. Nigel Black has just said happy birthday, Mick, and I was going to say that myself. I noticed it was your birthday, so big thanks to you for giving up your night and your birthday to come on the show. Fantastic, thank you, sir.
Trying to get the Bertas to go back with us now if I can at all, you know.
That's good. So Moira, coming up into you first. You originally from Aberdeen.
I'm originally from Aberdeen, right?
But
yes.
When did you move to Ireland?
About 30 years ago, I think.
Is it really? Is it that long already? God, Jesus. Because I can remember you being in Aberdeen. It doesn't seem like 30 years ago, does it?
Yeah, and wait till I tell you, you know, during COVID, maybe Karen was at this as well. There was not much to do, so I was going through boxes of photographs and things, and I found a ticket that said I was playing at the Shetland Accordion and Fiddle Club on the 5th of December, 1985. So 35 years ago, I was up and playing in there. Yeah.
It's incredible. So, had you been up to Shetland a few times? Or?
Yeah, I was up there about 2 or 3 years ago was the last time, but I was up a good lot after that. Yeah, I found another ticket for 87 for the Skeld Hall. Then a dinner dance there. £1.
The middle of nowhere. Yeah. Middle of nowhere. But I'm sure you've got little halls like that in Ireland as well.
Aye. Oh yeah, the Clickerman, and we did the Foster Nollan did the Clickerman as well a couple of times, I think.
Yeah. We were up. We were in Shetland a few times years and years ago, and then in 1991, Meyer and myself and a drummer from Kerrymuir, Geordie Borwick, we did the Accordion and Fiddle Club up there, and in Orkney as well. And,
several places. Yeah,
we did all over.
It's you'll know that yourself, of course, being part of a duo that's famous. It's nice to do things yourself sometimes as well, isn't it? And go and do different things.
It's great. It's I mean, I enjoy what I do with Tony Allen, but you know, at the end of the day, I really love Irish dance music, and we don't do very much of that in the Foster and Allen. So a little bit here and there, but in general, it's all ballads and stories and
easy
comic songs, easy listening music and all that. But
You try and sneak in a few reels.
We sneak in an odd one here and there, you know.
Quite right, quite right. but I mean, the duo has been incredibly successful over the years. How long have you been in the go with the duo now?
We in 45 years.
Amazing.
We started Foster and Allen in 1975, but we started playing together first in 1967, and we played in different local bands, if you like, for a few years, and then I eventually, what happened was, Tony was mad for a band, as into playing a band where there were 6 or 7 lads, you know, and he was into the show band scene, which was huge in Ireland at that time. But I was looking at a very famous show in Ireland here called the Late Late Show back in 1968. And seeing the Alexander brothers, as in Tom and Jack, I figured there was an opening for an Irish version, if you like.
Okay.
And it took me from 1968 to 1975 to convince Tony that I was right.
Yeah.
But I think he didn't do it without
I think you were right.
You're doing something right.
Yeah, you've got it right. And that's pretty amazing. 45 years still speaking to each other.
Well, we have this unique record, I suppose, that in the 45 or 52 year, whatever length of time, we never had an argument.
Brilliant.
I suppose. Well, look, there's nothing to argue about, really, because we always figured from day one that, you know, if we got £1 for playing, 10 shillings was his and 10 shillings was mine. And as we moved along, he's not able to do what I do and I can't do what he does. So I suppose it's like having 2 separate acts on the stage. There'd never be a chance that, you know, that there'd be a clash over a song, because the songs he'd be singing, you know, I'd be wasting my time trying to do them, and the stuff that I'd be doing, it'd be comic songs and old, what we call in Ireland, old camalias, you know, that our grandparents or great grandparents were listening to, and he wouldn't really be bothered with them as much as me. So that's the reason that I suppose we never had there was never a clash over a song or anything like that.
Right.
Did you ever clash? The pair of you as artists never.
Did we ever?
Both of you as artists never clashed in those years. But what about your musical director?
I clashed. Oh yeah.
Because of the fact that she tells me what to do at home and she tells me what to do on the road. So
It works.
no,
Yeah.
but it's just handy that to say, you know, if the wife is happy, everyone is happy.
Because not everybody will know that, Moira, you are the musical director for Foster and Allen.
For the last, I've been very privileged to be that, and yeah, it's great. Love it.
It'll be a challenging job as well sometimes.
Sometimes, because the boys do such a variety of musical things. You could be Frank Sinatra, Elvis, Dire Straits, trad stuff. So yeah, it makes you think, and it makes you keep alert. You know, trying to do arrangements for strings and brass and things. But I love it. I love the challenge of that.
Because you were a music teacher anyway, weren't you? You
Yes,
teach music.
yeah. I did a bit of teaching in the schools now. Before this COVID, I'd go in for maybe a 6 weeks course in a school, you know, and teach music for maybe 6 weeks. But of course, COVID's put in for that. So hopefully it'll get back sometime, you know.
Both of us teach in schools as well. Ross teaches pipes in the schools and I teach accordion in the schools. It's been a strange year. Very strange.
I was looking at those pipes, Ross. What kind of pipes are there, or is there a name to them? Because they appear to be a cross between our Illian pipes and Scottish bagpipes.
That's indeed true. They're Scottish small pipes.
All right.
And they're made by Hamish Moore in Dunkeld.
Lovely. When I pay for your Christmas.
No, thanks.
I'm delighted.
I'm not playing pipes. It's like having a wrestling match with an octopus, I think, because you have your two hands and your two elbows, and with the Irish alien pipes are using the heel of their fist as well.
Yeah, amazing.
We've never had.
Well, I appreciate you playing.
We're very happy to listen to you.
Thanks. We've not had a Yulin pipe on yet, but will do. But you're absolutely right. It's a phenomenal instrument to try and learn. I have no idea how all that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a look at. I never tried, but I often tried a tin whistle, and I mean messing at a tin whistle. But I would play it backwards with my left hand on the bottom. So I was snooker down the pipes, and I think within the alien pipes there's a note at your thumb, and there's 4 in your right hand. So I know I'll stick to what I half know. Too late for me to start changing that.
I don't want to be listening to you practicing.
I think the hardest thing about the Yulin pipes is affording them.
There's a pipers kind of club round about our area here for alien pipes, and I went a couple of Sundays to hear there could be about 10 or 11 women and men playing pipes, and they're fantastic sound. They're lovely.
Yeah.
Any kind of pipe is lovely for someone, if there's an expert. It must be fairly rough trying to listen to somebody learning. It's like I suppose someone trying to learn a fiddle, or maybe trying to learn nothing, but at least a lad trying to learn an accordion, I don't think it's as bad, even though years and years ago, my mother used to send me to the furthest room in the house and tell me not to come back until I could play it, because she couldn't listen to me hitting notes and twisting my mouth around to my ear trying to get the right one, that kind of way.
Yeah, you can come through for your tea once you've got it sorted.
Yeah.
Don't be rasping here in the kitchen, I'd be told.
Yeah.
I think it's a completely different thing when you're teaching, though. I think when you're seeing everybody week after week after week, and you see the progression of people as they progress. You don't hear these mistakes the same way. You don't hear what of course the fiddle, any instrument, the bagpipe, accordion. I know everybody's instrument will be challenging to listen to, but you don't really hear that when you're teaching somebody week on week, I don't think.
Yeah, and when you hear the improvement every week, it's very encouraging.
There's John Robertson.
I suppose the problem with a fiddle or a violin is you don't have a note, you have to make it more or less. Whereas with a banjo or a guitar, and with an accordion or whatever, the notes are there. Try and play the right ones if possible, but with a fiddle, I think you need a great ear as well as finger ability.
A great ear and great neighbours.
Woodwind.
Where we live, middle of nowhere.
Yeah, we're out in the heart of the country. Our nearest neighbour is I think about 200 yards away from us. Right. So we're safe enough. We live right about 4 miles outside Mullingar, but right in the middle of the country. My son lives about a quarter of a mile down the road, and our nearest neighbours, as I say, are 200 yards the other way, and that's it. There's no other neighbours within, a mile of us.
Brilliant.
So plenty of room to make practice.
Yeah, we can make all the mistakes we like, and no one will hear us.
Yeah.
When Ross plays his bagpipes, he has to do lots of baking for his neighbours and all that to make up for it. He cooks scones and shortbread and things.
Oh, lovely. So this man here is very good at making apple tarts now. Apple tarts and bread is mixed speciality. So you should get together, please. You start a wee business there.
There they go. Musical. They could have a wee musical thing comes out the middle or something.
Yeah.
No doubt. Be no bother.
Mick, you've got the box on. Do you fancy giving us a wee tune? And Moira, you're going to play piano. We can't see the
I'll play
piano,
piano.
but we can play the piano. So
We'll try and play a couple of jigs and see how we get on. And I have well, it's what I call an old man's accordion. It's a 60 bass salterelle. It's only a 2-volt, but there's great action to it, and you know the bellis is grand. You hardly have to move it at all, and when you get to a certain age, and when you're lazy as well as that, a little look like this is fierce handy.
cool. Good stuff, folks. Thank you. Wow.
Fantastic.
But ladies and gentlemen out there, sorry about the internet jumping a wee bit. It is jumping a wee bit, but we get the gist exactly what you're doing. And it's fantastic to hear you. Fantastic to hear you. It's fantastic hearing you playing fired up tunes because, as you said, with Foster and Alan, we usually hear you just playing ballads and sort of stuff, you know. So
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff. But before COVID, we Myra and myself and a friend of ours, he's an All-Ireland, well, he's 12 times All-Ireland champion mouth organ player. The three of us would do a lot of concerts and stuff like that together. But with the COVID now, he can't come out here and we can't go in there. So when there's just the two of us together, look, I had the accordion out in the sitting room here for the last 2 months, and I said I must play a tune. I never played a tune until what we're playing now. So
sorry, great.
When I was a young lad going to school, the biggest problem was trying to get me to stop playing the accordion and do my homework. But now I neither do homework nor play accordion.
Because where did you both start playing? If we take it right back, Moira, where did you start? Who taught you to begin with?
I started playing when I was about 8. None of my family were musical, but my father's family were musical. And one Hogmanay, I'll never forget it. I was in my grandmother's house, and my great uncles all had accordions and fiddles out. And I remember sitting thinking, I wish I could do that. And that was it. I got a little Horner accordion, which I still have up on display, and I never stopped. Wouldn't stop playing. I just loved playing. I never did anything else. I didn't play football, sports, anything. I just wanted to play music. And I started playing at weddings and dances when I was 12 or 13 in groups. So you'd be learning off of other people playing at chords, and that was how I started. And I never stopped. I did other things in between, business kind of music selling and music shops, but I really just wanted to play, and that was it. And I do, thanks be to God. So that's how I started.
Well, I started, I suppose, most peculiarly because when I was about 5 or 6, maybe, I used to be in my grandmother's house on a regular basis, and she had an old windy-up gramophone, and she had a load of Jimmy Shand records and Will Starr records, the old 78s, and I used to be listening to that, and at that stage I was accordion mad, but the old gramophone that she had, the spring was broken. So you put on your 78 and you put your finger in beside the little hole and you spun it like that to get the music. And that went grand, but you know, it would start off as a jig, but as your finger got tired, it would wind up as a waltz. That was the way I started, and then I started messing at a button accordion, and I wasn't making too much headway, and I went over on the piano accordion, and none taught me the fingering and how to read music a bit. And then a neighbour of ours who was a former All-Ireland champion button accordion player, a two-row button accordion player, he taught me all my traditional music, and as I say, he didn't make me any better than anyone else. He just made me a good bit different in Ireland now, because back, you know, when I would have started in 1960 or thereabouts, in traditional circles in Ireland, a piano accordion was a dirty word. You weren't welcome a session. You know, a bowron would be more welcome than a piano accordion. And,
That's
so anyway, this man taught me how to play traditional music, and the fact that he was a button accordion player made me have a kind of a different style. So when I started going to sessions with him, all these old fellas and old ones that would hate a piano accordion, you suddenly heard this fella playing it a bit different, and we kind of got accepted, and then as the years went on, you know, a load of other people, men and women, came playing piano accordions, and now it's a very popular instrument, not near as popular as a button accordion, not in Southern Ireland, maybe in Northern Ireland, but there's, you know, a ratio, I'd say, of 10 to 1 at least, button accordions versus piano accordions. And an awful lot of young people now are playing concertinas, which there wasn't too many of them when I was young and growing up, and there was none of them around our neck of the woods here. But now there's a world of young concertina players.
That's interesting. We had Martin Donoghue on a show a couple of months ago, and he mentioned that there was lots of people picking up the concertina.
Yeah, a world, and an awful lot of young people playing banjos. When I was young and starting off, it was mostly what they call banjo mandolins, which was a kind of a cross between a banjo and a mandolin. It was 8 strings, but it had a kind of a body like a banjo and a short neck. And then Barney McKenna, who were the Dubliners, Barney came on playing a banjo, and overnight banjo mandolins became obsolete, and every lad was playing a banjo, and there's a world of those as well now, you know, a load of them. So look at everything changes, I suppose, and that's it.
Yeah. And on that fact, Moira, I noticed when I was reading your bio there as well, you play in a bluegrass band as well.
Yeah, we have a bluegrass band called Bend in the Strings, and we're kind of different. We call it a honky-tonk bluegrass band because I play the piano, but I play the accordion in it as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Irish and Scottish music, but with an American accent. It's kind of like real, you know, a lot of the tunes are crossed over, you know, like Soldier Joy. It's a great bluegrass tune, you know.
A lot of the blueprint of that music, a lot of the blueprint of bluegrass music comes from that kind of. You can hear that Celtic sort of thing in the background of that. Anyway, it'd be an easy thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but one of the real popular bluegrass instrumental is Soldier Joy. You know, like bluegrass up, and it's brilliant. So yeah, I love that. I love every kind of music now. With anything at all I can try my hand. I love, you know, anything musical.
So this year, have you managed to? I mean, obviously touring and everything's been out the window this year.
It's gone. Yeah.
Have you managed to get around to other projects? Have you done some recording or anything like that with yourselves? Or?
Just in the house, really.
Yeah, we
here at the piano in the living room, just messing at the piano and recording it on the phone. Really, that's a good job.
Last month was the 25th of January, and we were to go to England from the middle of March until the middle of April, and then 2 days before we were due to go, the lockdown came, and so that was it. So except Myra did a song there that had got a lot of reaction. It was called 40 Shades of Grey. It was for the ladies that couldn't hear that.
Yeah,
and we recorded a couple of things together as well, just for fun, and sent them out to radio stations that, you know, that we had pals in that were DJs, so we knew they'd play them once anyway. But indeed, we got a lot of reaction. Myra got a serious amount of reaction to that. 40 Shades of Grey. It was on Scottish radio on some of the folk programs a couple of times, and we have a program here on RTE radio every day from 1:45 to 3 o'clock, and called Live Line with Joe Duffy, and she did it on that, and she did it on Irish television as well. And as I say, she just wrote.
That's just in the house.
Wrote the tracks in the front of the piano and you know, recorded it into her phone. We were saying if you gave a week in the studio, wanted the rounds of the world, no one
a lot of money to listen. So it's the way it works.
So they're looking at the drawing.
But there's no music now. We have no. Foster and Alan, we are not touring or doing anything now until maybe November 21, and who knows then. So
this vaccine is coming in, but I'd be a kind of a doubting Thomas. I'd like to see someone else doing it first and see how the reaction was after 3 or 4 months, and then I might chance it. But I wouldn't. I'd sooner someone else with the guinea pig rather than me.
Yeah, one of my friends suggested that the government should take it first.
Definitely, and that'd be a good idea.
Have we no harm? And then if we work with them,
or it didn't work, it wouldn't matter.
Definitely with our ones here in Ireland, if it didn't work, it wouldn't matter.
No.
No, I don't. It's a strange world we're in. It's very strange. Last time I played live was way back as well, and it's really.
It's just decimated the music business here. Like, it's just, and young bands and young musicians, and you know, that was their livelihood, and now everything gone. And they might have a mortgage, and maybe parents gone to school, or maybe just after buying new equipment. You know, it's very hard on the likes of them now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So hopefully,
I honestly think that music's going to be the thing that comes back one of the hardest. I think that live music's going to be the thing that a lot of people want to hear again. I think, and get back into.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a thing. I think it's going to be a thing that a lot of musicians want to get out and maybe do. I think in lockdown, one of the things I seen, there's a lot of musicians that were maybe not putting out CDs or maybe not putting out books, but they were definitely getting on the internet and finding a niche for the music that they had that maybe wasn't. So I think after this, they're going to have a completely different audience and a place to go. And speaking about pipe bands very quickly, I think when everything kind of goes back to whatever normal will be, I think the community pipe bands are going to be the strongest they've ever been for a number of decades, because the communities are definitely going to need that musical significance, I think.
Well, talking about internet niche and everything, like we found Peter on Facebook, and we were amazed, Peter, thanks to you and Linda and your team, like, for putting out the tunes every day that you did, because two things. The first thing we used to think was, how the heck is he remembering all them tunes? Where are you getting all the tunes from? And the second thing, I was thinking, how can he play so well early in the morning? So, but thanks to you, you really kept our spirits up during lockdown now.
It was great fun. It was really interesting to do it. And I'd never, for the once in me, I remember getting to day 100 or something like that and thinking, bloody hell, this wasn't supposed to last this long, was it? And then I went up to 150, and then I had to go back to school, even though that being a kind of blended fashion, we were teaching some internet, some schools, and so it was really it was interesting, and I'll tell you what, finding the tunes, it was amazing, because people started sending me tunes and all that. I've got a bigger collection of music than I've ever had in my life.
Yes.
It was really cool.
I saw that. Yeah, I noticed that.
Have you got this tune? And you're like, oh, I've never heard that. Right? Oh, okay, right, give it a go. So it's been really good fun.
We're very lucky now that during COVID that it happened, but it did. That's a silly thing. What I'm trying to say is that we were steeped, that we have Skype and we have Zoom and we have, that we can keep in touch with people, that we're not kind of just totally isolated altogether. Just keep everything going.
Yeah, I mean, I'm up here in Shetland and Ross is in Pitlochry, and we've actually never met each other face to face yet. We've been presenting this show now for 8 months, but we've not do that to his relief. But,
I know.
But it's interesting. And
that's a job. Oh
yeah.
We're trying to build up a 6 or 7 year build up, like what you did for Foster and Allen.
Yeah.
Eventually we'll all run into one another when this COVID.
We were actually coming up, making myself and maybe five or six friends were all coming up to Shetland this year, just for a holiday, just for the craft. And when we were saying to our friends, who were coming on the show and who were based in Shetland, they were all lamenting the fact that we never got. So maybe next year, hopefully.
Yeah.
Come over the crack.
That would be fantastic.
Can I make a wee connection about the last sort of thing that we talked about? And that was musicians in lockdown that are finding themselves. And Peter mentioned this. You've mentioned this a few times, Peter. And it's band players learning how to play solo again and finding that repertoire together for maybe an hour set. You're seeing people with like Cayley cabins now and new radio stations that are they're playing for hours and end with new stuff. But like Foster and Allen brought out 50 albums.
I'm not well.
For some of the audience that might not know that it's staggering figures, and there's a number of things on the wall behind you that aren't decoration.
Dust catchers, that's what we call it. Dust catchers.
But
you're polished. You're Mr. Sheep.
And a modern,
when you get the first one or two, you're very excited, but as they build up, then as Myra says, it's trying to find a wall where you can put them and try and keep them. let her keep them
It's a good complaint. It's a good complaint.
Yeah, but people was saying, making comparisons between, say, Foster and Allen and the Rolling Stones or U2, you know, because the boys have sold nearly as many records as, say, the Rolling Stones. But as you were saying, the only difference is it took Mickey 45 years to sell all them, and U2 and Rolling Stones would sell them in a week. Like.
That was the kind of the difference, you know. We sold around 20 million CDs, but it took us 45 years to do it. You know, the pop lads would do that much in 6 months.
Yeah.
So but I suppose for
but you're still here
doing what we're doing.
Yeah, you're still here though, and a lot of these pop guys are gone.
Yeah, I kind of think, well, like the Rolling Stones and things, but like 45 years is a huge amount of time to be together with anybody, let alone a band, and let alone not one argue.
Yeah.
Like Mick and Tony have argued with everybody else, but they never argue with each other.
She'd win, and so what's the point? You know?
But I think that's the. I think you're absolutely right. And you said this at the very start, Mick. Foster and Allen did two separate things. You said that Foster and Allen did two separate things, stuff that Foster couldn't do and Allen couldn't do, and you worked as a team. You know, you had like through that you had. But and then so if that's taken 45 years and you've had that respect, there's very few disciplines outside of music that could keep that going, I think.
No, that is
probably
sure.
not, because you know, we always said, you know, once it goes beyond 2, you're in trouble, because even a 3-piece or a 4-piece, you know, 2 would go one way and 2 would go the other, or even in a 3-piece, 2 would go one way and 1 would go the other. But when there's only the 2 of us, you know, there's nothing really to argue about.
There's 5.
There's 5 of us on stage, but I mean, no, we have to say, well, she thinks she has to say, but you know, we'll whisper in her ear, and then it's her idea, but you know, we planted the seed. You know.
Oh, really? Right.
I doesn't believe that. You know.
So
I'll write the next one.
Moira's the one that tells the
you know, there's no A flats or E flats in my accordion. You know, if a lad wants to sing in E flat, he'll either sing in D or E, but I won't tell him, you know. So it makes her, it doesn't matter what key you know, someone sings and she'll play it. But what happened, I'd say, was in my case that when I started off, I suppose 90% of traditional Irish dance music was either G or D.
Yeah.
Now there'd be a certain amount of A minors and a certain amount of E minors, but like you wouldn't hear back then anyone playing a tune in C or anything like that. But a friend of mine up in the north of Ireland, he is a fabulous accordion player, a fellow called Wilson McDowell, and Wilson played with the Irish Rovers for a lifetime, and
they had the big hit, the Unicorn.
They had the number 2 hit in the very song, Unicorn. But Wilson used to play nothing only trad music one time when he was, you know, a younger fella, and he won the All Ireland in our town back in 1963, and the tune he played, the really played, was The Boys at the Loch. But he learned it off of a Sean Royer LP, and the LP player was playing that little bit fast, was it?
Yeah, so he was an E flat.
And so he learned it in E flat, and he played it all his life in E flat. Now, I wouldn't be able to play E flat unless you put a handle on the show or change the reeds or whatever, you know. But he actually, that was one of his tunes that he won the All Ireland with The Boys at the Loch in E flat.
Oh man, see, a piano player's dream.
Oh, lovely, yeah.
Lucky enough, I know nothing about piano, so
I think I mentioned it once before in the show. Actually, there was an accordion player in the area I grew up in when I was just a little boy, and he used to go up on stage and he played everything a semitone down, and it was because of that he'd learnt everything on the gramophone, and it was wrong. So stuff that was in G, he played in G flat, and gee,
good man.
All the black notes.
Peter, when I come up to Shetland, sorry to be wavering off of things, but just when you said that, when I came up to Shetland first, and the first time I went into the lounge, and there was a big session going on with Tony Woolley and Bogey and all that, there was a fella come in, he played an accordion upside down. As in, he played the bass with the right hand and the keys with the left hand. Do you remember him?
Well, was it a Shetland boy or was it an Orkney boy? Because it was an Orkney boy. Yeah.
I can't remember his name, but I remember being mesmerised by this. But there was a thing, he got an accordion and he'd never seen one before, and he just started to play upside down. And
mine sounds that way along the
It's awful strange to watch, isn't it? Because I've seen somebody doing it, and the low notes are where the high notes should be, and it looks really strange.
You're kind of breaking up there, Peter, but
I was saying
if you find out what let me know.
Yeah, it's strange to watch them playing because the low notes are at their hands going the wrong way.
Yeah.
Strange.
Yeah, and I couldn't get my head on this at all. No.
Have you guys got solo albums out as well? Then just now, have you got solo albums out?
Yeah.
Where's the best place for people to buy
it? Well, if you can get in touch with us on an email, just drop an email, and I can let people have a list to put CDs we have, and it's mickandmoy@gmail.com. MICK and MOY, at gmail.com. And any CDs, we have vocal CDs with traditional Irish music, traditional Scottish music ones.
Brilliant.
You know, so a bit of everything.
People will want to go and look this up as well and hear that. And it's a nice thing about having you on as well to find out these things. Is that right, Moira?
Perfect. That is 100%. Yeah.
That's magic. There we go.
That's Karen on the job, I'd say.
She's on the case back there. Karen's like our Moira. She tells us what to do.
Yeah. Well, you need that, you see.
They say one person thinking is worth 10 people walking, you know.
Yeah. Write that somewhere.
Definitely write that somewhere.
Do you fancy giving us a wee quick blast before you go?
Yeah.
Right, we'll see how the game goes.
Just before we go, can we say hello to Brian Frost and Nancy in the borders there, please, and to Robin and Helen Cook listening to us just outside Edinburgh.
Magic. We'll speak to you after you've played this tune quickly as well.
Oh, lovely. It's fine. Okay.
Right. Well, Aye. Don't kill an old man.
No. Right, you go.
done, folks. Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Great. I just love that Irish style. I just love that Irish style. Fantastic.
Well, I suppose it's a little bit different. A lot of players here in Ireland would try to be imitating the Scottish lads, but I suppose I just lucky enough to be able to play my own way, and look, it's after working for a while, so we won't try and change it now. It's too late to change it. But if it wasn't for the Scottish fellas, I suppose, like the great Sir Jimmy Shan and Will Starr and these fellas, I probably wouldn't have bothered my head at it. But then we met some great lads over the years, like Tom Alexander and Jimmy Sam Jr. and Henry Smith. We met Arthur Spink in Australia a few years ago, and there's a young fellow up in Wick called Brandon McPhee, who was a great player as well. So look at
Robert Whitehead.
Robert.
Robert's wife was out there a minute ago.
It was Robert. Yeah. Robert was telling me today on a text that he's 3 weeks younger than me, so suppose he has that advantage.
Yeah, it's great that Robert's getting well, because Robert got COVID, so it's really nice that he's through it.
Yeah, he was very, very good.
Yeah, nice to see him on the go again.
There's another great young fellow over there called Leonard Brown.
Oh, what a player!
He's a great player. And look, Ireland and Scotland, accordion players are what we call 10 a penny. And the best of lads, nobody knows about them, because they don't push themselves or make themselves known, and they're happy enough to play in their local area and have a bit of fun at it, and they all have jobs as well, whereas the likes of us, we better get out and get work or we'll die with the hunger.
We had Leonard on as a guest once. And he's a marvellous player. Leonard Brown. Fantastic.
Great entertainer.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, because I think you have to do that. But I mean, Mick, you'll know that as much as anybody. You have to be an entertainer as well as a musician, don't you? That's what you have to do. So
it's even more important, Peter. We always said, as in with the Frost and Allen said, it was more important to look well than play well or sing well. As long as you were out in a nice suit and stuff like that, people, appreciate that maybe as much as they might like the music, but they mightn't be into it in a big way that know about the finer points. But people come to be, when you're commercial and making a living at, people come to be entertained, not educated. So you have to keep that in mind all the time.
Dermot O'Brien was a good example of that.
Dermot O'Brien, I suppose, he was probably maybe the only top class accordionist that had the brains to commercialize it. Loads of fantastic musicians who will be playing continental music and high class music and all this, which is magic, but it's not a commercial job. But and like as good as Dermot was, he never made any money until he started to sing. So there you go. You see, you'll be saying, look, he doesn't need to sing. People to listen to his accordion there. But you see, there was a fella. He died only very recently, a couple of years ago, in Northern Ireland called Jim McAllister. And Jim tuned accordions and he did MIDI systems and he designed programs for the factories in Italy and all this to do with MIDI. And we were chatting one and we used to tune my accordion and all this. And when we'd be in Northern Ireland, we'd always call and whether we wanted that done or not. And I was saying, that I was really only into Irish and Scottish dance music, and he was saying, well, look, I like sponge cake, he said, but I wouldn't like it for my breakfast, dinner and tea. So it was a great example. I think that, that different types of music, the one thing music, people they get fed up of it if you don't mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's been absolutely phenomenal having you on tonight. I can't believe we've gone through an hour already.
Really, no way.
When we start talking, we get through 2 hours a day.
No bother.
I've been in total awe of you guys all week, waiting for you to come on. Since I was a wee boy, everybody knew who Foster Allen was, and I've known Moira for many, many years. Who Moira was, and it's just been fantastic to have you on. And I hope the folk at home have all enjoyed this.
Okay.
It was great. It was a pleasure for us.
It's been so good of you to give up your time on your birthday and come on with us. It's just fantastic. So
we can have a drum now.
No problem. We're glad to have a drum before we're done in case I messed up. So, now that I can introduce you, then I'll have 1 or 2 or 3. Yeah.
Excellent. There you go. Moira will pull you a big drum.
And hopefully we'll be up to Shetland next year for a few days, and we'll get together and make a few tunes, hopefully, yeah. Thanks
so
again
much.
to you, and thank you to Linda or Karen to be in the back room.
Thanks, lads, and to the old woman herself. And we'll see you somewhere along the line when this COVID is up.
Come and see us when you're up. We'll get a tune.
We will, definitely will, yeah. God bless, thanks a million.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know that
Sure,
one.
be quiet. That's Alexa talking to me now.
You better be careful. I want to say before he went off there that Mick was part of every one of our family parties that we ever had. In my memory growing up and before that everybody knew every dance and song to that. So great memories, like somebody from my age and younger. I know I've got cousins younger that
what a brilliant couple though. What nice people.
Absolutely fantastic.
And I don't know, but what I think what we're seeing with a lot of the folk we've had on the show, that we normally have thought, wow, big stars. We're finding these people are just genuine, nice people. And I think that's something that makes them go far in the business as well. You know, they appreciate everyone that's came to them, and they're willing to share stuff on there. And that was just amazing. That's great to have these folk.
Yeah, and I think Mick brought up a great point there. It's not just your music that sells. You've got to be an entertainer.
Yeah, you've got to try.
Yeah, and you've got to be the thing that connects with people, you know.
When I done my degree, which this next people that are coming on with us as guests will be able to talk about, that was one of the things we actually talked about one day was on the course, well, a couple of days, was presentation. And sometimes folk musicians are a wee bit kind of turn up with an old pair of jeans on and a scabby t-shirt and think it's okay. But if they turn up smartly dressed, they're taken seriously. You're taken in a totally different, the audience look at you differently, definitely. That's aye, yeah, there you go. I think we should bring our next guest on.
Before we do that,
yeah,
it was Mick's birthday. It's also my sister's birthday. I was trying to get that in at the start.
Oh, brilliant.
And I missed that. So it's her birthday today, and I missed it at the start.
What sister's that?
My oldest sister of 3. So she says she was 37, but
okay.
It's been a funny year. So she might be older or younger than that. So
I think we're all allowed to lose a year this year.
Aye. So yeah. I think she gained a year. But I'm not. I'm not saying that.
I noticed when my new CD came back from Poland that it's dated 2021. It's like they've just written off.
So can you claim that back in next year's tax?
I don't know. Hello, Mr. Donohoe. How are you doing? There's Martin Donohoe watching. Martin's coming on with us again in the festive time. We'll tell you more about that nearer the time. That'll be great. Anyway, I think we should bring our next guest on.
Absolutely.
All the way from US, we have Mr. Simon Bradley and Anna Wendy Stevenson. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing, both of you?
All right. Yeah, we're all right. But that was an interesting chat with that pair with all the gold discs on the wall behind them.
It was lovely.
Yeah, gee whiz. I've just got a Christmas tree.
The last time that we did a broadcast from US, we were in somebody's loft.
Yeah. It was Alan Henderson's loft. Yeah.
Alan Henderson, aye.
Yeah. And then he disappeared in the middle of it to go and tell the kids to switch off all the internet stuff because they were interfering with him. So they'd all to get off the internet, so he got full blast. So. That was good. So how are you both? Are you fine?
We're good. Yeah, we're. I mean, Peter, we used to see you on video conferences when you were, you know, on the course and that. And we've got a few weeks to tie up yet and get all the marking done. And then we're looking forward to Christmas. We're looking just forward to relaxing and having a bit of space. But we're fine. It was a beautiful day today in Newest. So we were out and about.
Simon did a 10K today. The circumference of Grimsby.
That was my lockdown project. I took up jogging, took up running.
Well, I was swimming in the sea today. That was my thing.
That's really popular here as well in Newest.
Yeah, it's good.
Have you got one of those cloaks? Have you got one of those cloaks you put on afterwards?
No. A cloak.
Well, there's some kind of like cold swimming kind of cloak thing that people are getting into.
All right. Okay. Yeah, they've not reached Shetland yet. Then.
Dry robe.
A dry robe. Right.
Oh well,
I think Peter was thinking about like Superman cape or something there.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Well, it looks like that.
Yeah. Let's. Where are we going with this? Right, here we are. Simon, I'm awful glad you brought Anna Wendy on with you too, and we can just work and we'll speak to you both because you're both lovely people. What about a wee bit, quick bit of background, where you're from and what got you into the music?
Okay, well, I grew up in a place called Rochdale, which is north of Manchester, and I got into the music because my father's from Donegal in Ireland, and I would go and see the family in the holidays, and I would hear this amazing fiddle music. You know, the people that were playing about then, you know, went on to form groups like Four Men, a Dog, and Altan. So it was a really, you know, high quality music, and it just looked so amazing, fun. So when I went back to Manchester, there's a big expat Irish community, and I joined one of these, you know, the Cayley bands, the Coulters, and you know, there was it was a brilliant way of just learning. We just had, I don't know if what the equivalent would be, but we didn't have like normal music, so we had they wrote out the names of the letters, so it would be like A, B, C, D, E, E. And you would put a tick if it was the above, if it was the top octave, and a tick below if it was the bottom octave. You was essentially learning by ear with these little cheat sheets, and that was wonderful. And we did the flaccules, the competitions, and you would wear the little ties, and you would get these little badges if your Cayley band won. So it's a lovely just way of playing. But I was a bit of a curio in Rochdale. There was only me and one other guy, another friend who had Irish parents, and he played the banjo, so we had a duo. But we were the only people in the whole town who played traditional music in those days, and that was Irish traditional music. So that's how I started. And then I moved to Edinburgh, and I met people like yourself, Peter, and there's an amazing group of musicians, Catherine Nichol and Daly Shaw and Russell Hunter. Loads of people, Martin Bennett, loads of people, and then I got into playing the Scottish music, and that was absolutely wonderful. And then I was in Loyon Festival. I'm sure you've both been to Loyon Festival. In fact, we were chatting with the students to Lisardo Lombardia, who's the director of Loyon Festival. We run this series of kind of chats from folk from the industry, and they speak to our students. And there's Ailey Shaw. Used to play in Ailey Shaw's parents, Paddy and Libby, the Highfield dance band, and we
when you're in that one.
Amazing times there.
Ailey and Ross were on the show a fortnight ago. They come on and played too. So it was good.
Yeah, they're doing great. Great times. And but I was in Loyon, and then I met all the. I don't know if you've come across the Galicians and the Asturians, you know, who congregate there along with the UK parties, and then I got invited over to that north coast of Spain, and I would tour with my Scottish band, and that's how I got into like playing Asturian music. So I play in a band called Yanda Cabell, who play Asturian music. So they're all from Asturias. I'm a bit of a curio, which seems to be my my special position. Maradona was the number 10. I'm the curio shirt, the black sheep. So I play a bit of a Scottish, a bit of Irish, and a bit of Asturian music. So that's how I got into music.
We'll speak about the Asturian stuff in a wee while later on, but and we'll go into what you're actually doing at Newest and why you're there and that. But do you have a tune up your sleeve that you would perhaps play for us just now?
Yeah, well, we're going to play a few tunes that I made myself, and they kind of reflect those three kind of styles, those three repertoires. The first one is the three jigs, and the first one's Irish sounding, the second one's Asturian sounding, and the last one perhaps more Scottish sounding. So should we just blast away? Give you.
Are these in your book that you have it?
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Good. Let's play them, and then we'll speak about where folk can get a hold of that and things like that, because that's good.
Great. Okay.
That'll be good. Fantastic. Very nice, Simon. Very, very nice. 3 of your own tunes there. What were the 3 called?
The first one's called An Uncle at Last. The second one was called Molin del Puerto. And that was this little fish restaurant in Asturias, and it was on a cliff. And it was the first time we ever had spider crab. And they served it in the shell. And I was used to more kind of British food, so it's a bit of an experience, and they poured cider in it. Anyway, it took my fancy. It's since fallen into the sea, tragically. But anyway, that's the second one. And the last one is Chris and Tully, which is a couple who we met in the dancing in Uist.
Brilliant. Now, you say Uist there. Anna, Wendy and you are both in Uist. What took you to Uist then? How did you end up in Uist?
Well, I moved to Uist to follow a woman, as is usually the case, and the woman is Anna Wendy. So what brought you to Uist?
I moved to Uist in 2006 to teach on the Higher National Certificate, the HNC course in music. Right. So I came with the intention of staying for a year, and 14 years later, we're still here.
Fantastic. And what you played in groups as well, didn't you? What groups were you in?
Oh, groups that I were in was, in fact, I was just answering a message from Facebook Messenger to somebody who was inquiring after Jock Tamson's Bairns, actually.
Yeah.
So did some playing with Jock Tamson's Bairns laterally. Fine Friday with Chris Drever and Neela Kennedy. For a few years, we had a trio, and we toured, did some quite big tours. Yeah. Having a band of a trio is pretty portable, so we managed to do some epic Australian tours and the kind of usual Canada and Europe. And we made a couple of albums, played in a band called Annam with Brian O'Hara and Fiona McKenzie, and had some great times there. And a band called Kaluna prior to that. Charlotte Dixon and Rebecca.
So when you moved over to Uist, you were still playing with some of these groups then as well, then, when you were on Uist?
I was doing a bit of my own thing as well. I had my own album out, so I was playing with James Ross as well.
Okay.
We had a duo. And I've been doing I've been doing composing, and I fancied, actually, I felt that I had done a lot of globetrotting, and which I absolutely loved, but I was kind of reaching that age where I felt like I wanted to see what it was like not to live in a suitcase or live out of a suitcase, It was great. I'm very, very thankful for all the experiences and stories that I've had, and I love the fact that I also did quite a lot of kind of cross-genre collaborations as well. And
Ross was in the Black Watch, and he came out the Black Watch to see what it was like not getting shouted at every day.
Did it work?
It didn't work.
No, great. So Simon, so you both ended up over there. You're both working. Tell me your book. Can we buy that? I've got your book. It's got some great tunes in it. Where can people purchase the book if we're needing to get a hold of it?
I've not got it up anywhere just now. I think it was on. What is it? Scotland's Music, I think, had it. But if people, they could, message me and I'll send them a copy.
The best way for this, folks, on our Facebook page, Simon has put quite a few links on there, and it's on our Facebook page. So go in and look at Simon's bio, and there's loads of information in there that you can get a hold of, because they could buy the albums from some of the links as well, couldn't they? I think. Is that right? Yeah. So, because you've got 2 albums out, Simon? 2 albums?
Yeah, well, there's the Asturian band I mentioned, Yann.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
We got a recording out at the start of the year, and it's on Spotify. You can download it, or you can buy physical CDs. So there's the links are there. For people.
The Asturian thing's really interesting, isn't it? Because it's very Celtic-y as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I describe it as, because the guides of the pipe they have there is they've got the G sharp, and they've got the longer range. It can go up higher, so it's almost like our music with a sunny kind of disposition about it. So with added vitamin C.
I say, so their G is a sharp on the chanters.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it just gives it a different feel, and
absolutely. But I think it's very highly. Piping's taught in the schools there as well, in that area as well, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think I've asked people there, and it was in the mid-70s. It was at its kind of lowest point. It kind of got suppressed during the Franco years.
Yeah.
When he died, it's a very, very quick mushrooming. They were down to like a couple of hands, a dozen maybe pipers that were still about, and now you must have 50 pipe bands. It's the most popular instrument.
It's incredible, isn't it?
It's flourishing.
Yeah, and like when you mentioned the Asturian thing, a lot of people, like for yourself, that was from Manchester area and then had Irish background, that must have been a huge sort of pull to a new sort of music, that when you came back, there was like you said about the expat. I mean, that was still there. That you could have cherry picked what you wanted to find out of that thing. Was that the same sort of thing when you got interested in the Asturian thing? Was that the same sort of shift that way? Because I know, like from Pitlochry, when I was transitioning onto the bagpipes in the same town was Gordon Duncan, who was bringing back great Galician and Asturian tunes and completely changing what young people traditionally listen to. That music transitioned onto the pipes quite well, I thought. When you listen to it, the dances, these completely different styles that you didn't think the pipes could do, certainly could, and they were like changing a lot of things at my age, at a very young age,
Yeah, I mean, I feel very fortunate to have had those kind of three voices that I've worked with and listened to, the Irish and then the Scottish and then the Asturian, and I've learned things and taken inspiration from all three, and they blend quite nicely. I feel you can make sets, you can bring all those elements together, in a lot of cases, but they are distinctive and they do reflect the places. I mean, one of the when we're teaching here, I've just written this new course, and it's about that Celtic connections across the Atlantic arc, basically about the kind of Lorient and this grouping of parts of the world. They've all got these strong musical traditions, but they can come together in Lorient and other festivals as well, and share the music, and it makes sense. They can form those connections, and it's fascinating. It's such a richness to listen to all these different, and I think more and more people are playing. Gordon and other people have taken the Galician tunes and the Asturian tunes and the Breton tunes, and we're sharing these tunes, I think, far more. And I think there's quite maybe an openness, or maybe it's just a precedent set, so people feel able to play a tune out with their tradition, and it's quite a friendly, welcoming scene, I believe.
The only thing I think about the Breton stuff, the bombard, it's not ideal in a session inside. It's not great. There's some volume comes out of that thing.
It is, yeah.
We were sitting having
the bombard player at a session.
Yeah, we were sitting having a tune one night in the lounge, and this man arrived with his little case and said, "Could he join in?" We said yes, and he opened it, and it was a bombard. It half emptied the bar within about 10 minutes. It was incredible. But that's how it goes. But, it's all these kinds of music. It's really nice to see the melting pot, as you say, and see it all kind of combining itself and mixing together. So on that point that you were there, I met you many years ago in Edinburgh, and it was when I came on the course that I met both of you guys, when I done the UHI Applied Music course. and you were the two people that had to kind of chase me about and make sure I got stuff in time and things like that, which was wonderful. I always did, Ross, every time.
Well,
yeah. But that's what you're doing out in US now, aren't you? You're both heavily involved now with running the course.
Yeah, so Peter, you actually did both the courses, and
Yeah.
I mean, these courses, the BA has just been approved for international delivery. So Anna Wendy is the program leader for the degree, 4-year degree, and I'm the program leader for the masters, music and the environment. And you can study them from anywhere. People tend to be from the Highlands and Islands, but you know, I've got a student in China, students in America, Brazil, and again, you know, they all come and we share experiences and bounce files and, you know, make sets collaboratively using the technology and bringing all these exotic ingredients into the melting pot. And it's, you know, it's really, I think it's a really great privilege to be able to work with all these, you know, these musicians around the world and bring them together using the technology. I mean, we've been very lucky. You know, we've not had to adapt as much as other universities because we do, you know, we were using this technology right back in 2014 when we first met Peter.
Yeah.
You know, so we had a kind of head start and a good foundation. We didn't have to redesign the course.
And you know, an amazing thing about that is that I knew nothing about technology or computers or anything. All you folks out there that see me working on the internet, I wouldn't have known how to switch a computer on hardly. Anna Wendy taught me how to copy and paste because I didn't know how to do it. And the thing is that once you get into it and you got more and more, and this is 7 years later, and we're doing internet radio shows and all that kind of things. Folks, if anybody's interested in doing the course, go for it, because such a variation across the course. It deals with all kind of sides in music industry, everything. I think that's the good part about it. It's not just stuck in one line. And I've learnt a tremendous amount in that course and how to get out and present stuff and do. It's been invaluable.
I can mention that as well because I did the HNC at the National Piping Centre in 2017, and that really opened my eyes to like the direction you have to look at to play music or take the music to the next stage. You know, like and it's very accessible. It's very doable and very inviting. So I think it's certainly the next sort of stages for me. I'm definitely interested in. I think it's Derek Doyle that deals with it down there, and the next stages for me is very appealing. So,
well, you could go to UST and do the BA.
The BA, because we've not been naming it, but it's the BA in Applied Music, which the title gives it away. The title is all about finding application for your musical skills and developing a range of associated skills. So that's where I guess through this degree, Peter, you were able to be based in Shetland and access from Shetland. It is very accessible and flexible, and we've got students enrolled from across Scotland and the UK, and actually we've got students in Germany and in Spain and Iceland, and it's really excellent. It combines a combination of video conference online and also residential for kind of like intensive times of music and socializing. You'll remember them very well, won't you, Peter?
I was always very quiet. I was always very quiet whenever I went anywhere. You know, kept myself.
Oh yeah.
Peter, are we allowed to tell the story? Because
yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You're definitely allowed
to. We did a residency, so we use the video technology, but we get together in person, and we got together in Shetland, and it was it November?
November and at the end of November, I had my birthday in Shetland. I remember that, which is in December.
So we all fired up. It's about 80 students or something like that. And we're in the Mariel Centre, and we did a concert there. But Peter was you're in the YAL squad at the time.
Yeah. Yeah, that year. So I got you all up to the galley shed, eh?
You got us to the galley, and I had a tune in there, and that was very memorable. And we tried on those helmets are real heavy.
Yeah.
You know,
do you remember Anna Wendy even managed to get into the galley shed? That's unusual.
I know, but I also swore I would never tell anyone that I'd been there.
Well, we've just told the world now.
I was just told the world, but I was sworn to secrecy. I got a picture, but I was sworn that I mustn't show the picture to anyone, if I remember rightly. So I've got the picture, but I've not shown it to anyone. But does this mean I can now share the picture?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been there. But it's really, it was some night, that, wasn't it? It was a cracking night.
Absolutely.
The funny thing, I remember you kind of saying it was almost similar to Asturian nights when the cider parties were on or something, wasn't it? You talked about.
Yeah, so it's a similar kind of thing. So, you know, they have in the Yagar where they make the cider. So Asturias, unlike the rest of Spain, it's due to the climate, it's very kind of green and higher rainfall, coastal. And they make cider, this lovely apple cider that you kind of pour from a distance, rather than wine. It's not quite got the climate to make the wine.
No.
So they go to the cider factory, and you know, you open the barrel and people are drinking and just nibbling, and it's rough and ready. You know, it's not a posh experience, but people have tunes and they do a really amazing music. I don't know if you've heard this. It's a vocal and bagpipe duo. So they have like the gaita and tonada singer, and they mimic, so that one of them sings, you know, the singer will sing this very detailed ornamented phrase at amazing volume, and then the piper kind of plays it, and while the singer, you know, fills his lung, it'll play a little flourish. So bagpipe and vocal duo, there's something for you to work out.
We'll have to try that, Ross. That could be our Christmas special.
Yeah. There's a great thing. I play the pipes in the Atholl Highlanders, and there's a great pair, Angus Clark and Macintosh, the Lawn Ranger is his nickname, but they do a great set where Angus Clark can recite phrases of Gaelic in his own pidgin fashion, which sounds terribly traditional. But Macintosh will tell a story in English that's completely different to what's getting said, and it's hilarious. It's a hilarious duo, and it changes every time. You never know what you're going to hear, but that's funny as well.
Yeah. I always thought, I've said it a few times about when I ended up stuck in Uist for one of the residencies because of the fog, and ended up singing in the choir, singing Gaelic. That was hilarious because I can't sing Gaelic at all. I can't sing, and I can't. Oh. And somebody about 3 weeks later saw it on the television up, this wee old wife in Wales says, "Oh, when you were on the television, it was somebody awful like you singing Gaelic."
It's maybe Pavarotti.
By the way, I'm growing my beard a bit scruffy just now again, but I'm doing the thing that musicians are having to do this year, that we're having to kind of explore different avenues. So I've got a Santa job for the NHS tomorrow night. So cool. I'm on there for the podcast. I'm delivering the new vaccine. Ho, ho, ho. Yeah. Have some vaccine. But anyway, where can folk get in touch with you about that course? If we want people, what's the best way to go about it if folk want to go on the UHI course?
So, well, there's a link. I think I posted a link for the masters, the one I run.
Yeah, you did.
Very quickly find. I can post a link for the BA. So you apply online, and then one of us will get in touch, and we'll have a chat and make sure it's the right course, and
we've got
interviews and things like that.
We've got quite a kind of portfolio now with all the different courses that we've got happening. You know, it's not just the BA in applied music and the MA music and the environment, but it's also where we are here. We have the HNC music, and that's taught by Alan Henderson, who was on a few weeks ago. And so Alan's now doing the HNC. and leading that. So, and we also have things to watch out for. Like we've got short courses online that are going to be starting in the new year, like Gaelic song as an introduction to Gaelic language.
I'll have to do that one then.
There you go, Peter. This is your chance. And Alan Alan's going to be leading that. And also there's going to be repertoire Gaelic instrumental skills with Ian McDonald, Piper. But he'll be doing it on whistle, and so there's various things happening, and because of COVID, we've got some of our residential experiences have been online this year. I mean, you remember Peter anyway that we've actually been doing our virtual residency as since 2014. We invented it. I meant
to follow up when I started saying that earlier. When I was up in Shetland, for anybody out there that thinks about it, I held down a full-time job and done the degree at the same time, because I could do the lectures and all sorts of things recorded at night or whatever, or get to them if I could, and it was all virtual, and it worked really, really well. And it's like anything, so it takes a couple of months to get into it, but once you were into it. But because of that, now doing stuff like this doesn't frighten me at all, because it's just like, you just kind of do it,
Yeah, it's very...
So it's perfectly doable to from a distance. You can do it for anybody. I sat and done most of my work in the house, so it's great,
So we're in February, we're doing a residency, which is all going to be about film writing music for sync music, for music placement, and for music libraries online. And we're really excited about that, because we're going to be working alongside Score Draw music from Ireland. Fantastic.
Right. If you need a James Bond type character, I've got a wetsuit now, and when I was coming out to sea today, that was Daniel Craig, eat your heart out,
Yeah.
Ross is like, what? So there was people on the way-by. There was people on the way-by with binoculars out when I came out the water today, and I think they thought it was Orca again. It wasn't Orca. It was me.
They thought it was Neptune.
You tried. Actually, Neptune. That's not a bad one. Neptune.
That is a good one. Good one.
But I mean, so please, folks, look into the course if you're interested in something like that, because it's so doable from anywhere in the world. You can do it.
Yeah, and I think that means that as well, a lot of the people that do the course, as well as the people that come straight from school, you do get people that have had or are still enjoying professional careers and doing quite high profile jobs. So the caliber of person on the course is really good, and we've got the masters. They're all like professional. They run studios. They've got careers. Sometimes the VC in from, they're on tour. Well, this is before COVID, but they might be on tour in Italy, and they'll VC in. They'll be in some cafe in Italy and join us in for the VC. So it does allow those people to access the opportunities to do degrees and masters, and that's enriching for the people that have come straight from school as well. And we've got all genres as well. So you'll have your Gaelic singers, your pipers, your box players, your electric guitar players, and bring them all together. And it's it's really...
The one thing that was an absolute bonus for me, having worked with the online presence, was my job was teaching as an accordion instructor in the schools. COVID came this year. COVID upset the apple cart completely. But fortunately, 2 years ago, I was doing the pilot for, we call it blended learning here, which is half online, half going to see them. So working in rotation. So I go every third week to certain schools. The other two schools get taught online from there, because it worked in an island situation with travel time, etc., was huge. So I'd been using it for a year and a half before COVID hit. So for myself to just to get over to the other side to do it wasn't such a big shock. And then we had to teach online completely, 50 pupils, 60 pupils a week, from the house. But it didn't bother me so much. But for some people, that was quite hard. For some musicians or instructors that had never been in front of a camera or worked with a computer before, they found it very difficult. So that's one thing everybody's had to learn fairly quickly, to be honest. But that was another advantage to the degree for myself. I was kind of a step in front with that one a wee bit, which was good.
Did you find that you were
and recording stuff, and putting wee videos together as well for packages for the kids learning, you know.
I know. When you mentioned that about COVID, you were doing that prior to COVID, Peter.
No.
I think the stepping stones for like yourself, Anna and Simon, a lot of things that pipe bands have had to do because they can't get together, and there isn't really a Zoom or any internet format where a pipe band can play together. But what a lot of pipe bands that I've seen do is take the younger stages through the grading. You know, the PDQB or the SQA, or, you know, all the SEQF stuff. They've started to say, right, we can teach this individually through this sort of system, and that's been really encouraging to see, because parents, kids, bands are all going to benefit from this year, the ones that have engaged into that, and that'll be stepping stone sort of stuff into the kind of academia of what you guys do in the future, really, I think, which would be great. So I think this year's, like, especially with the internet as well, it's been that distant way where you can engage with your pipe band, you do get a grade. It does encourage you to go to the next grade, whether it's a number or a tune or a paybrich or pipes or whatever it is, and then that's you, you're on that journey now, you know. You start learning about these new things, and eventually they'll be in North Eust with yourselves, you know.
Yeah, that's great.
It has opened a lot of doors. I think the internet has been brilliant for this, because we could never have done this 5 or 10 years ago, I don't think. Although not in the same way as we've had, not bands, or not individually. But, like, I couldn't have taught in schools the same way, I don't think.
Yeah, it was like your previous guest, Moira, I think, said, you know, that obviously it's been a massive shock and, you know, thing we've had to deal with. But at least we had the internet. Imagine if we hadn't had the internet, you know, 15 years ago, you know, I don't know what we would have done. But
I think it's going to keep a lot of things going. I think people will use the platform more and more and get better and better and better at it. And just even how to present themselves online, etc., etc. People are learning these things. And I think even whatever we go back to, this new normal, whatever we're talking about, I think there'll still be a lot of online presence now, because people have worked out ways to do it. It's been something that they weren't using, and they went, oh, wait a minute, we can use this to, you know, talk to the world rather than just one audience in front of me, kind of style thing. So it's good for that. I mean, the amount of people that's been in touch with me since I started playing and all that every day, it's incredible. I've had people from all over the world getting in touch and all that, and sending me gifts and things. I've had all sorts of things through the post. It's unbelievable. I've had everything from biscuits in Holland to there was maple syrup from North America, and all sorts of stuff arrived in the post, and it was great. But it was all possible because of this, and I think people will use this now. I don't think it will disappear. I don't think people won't use it, you know.
I think I always play the students this documentary about this Donegal fiddle player, Johnny Doherty, and he used to travel about, and he was a white tinsmith who would fix the kitchen goods, and he would tell the tales. You know, he was the original portfolio musician. I think musicians have always had to be entrepreneurial, even before we started using that word, and you know, adaptable. And I'm sure that I mean, yourselves, you're up for the award at the Trads, and you got our vote, and good luck, fingers crossed for that. But you know, this and the tune books, all the things that you guys are doing is wonderful as well. You've adapted, you've really made it into something that we didn't have before then, and that it's been a real success.
Yeah, the two Martin McLeods down in Pitlochry as well, actually, and it's them that deal with all the production side of tunes in the house and putting it together and things, and that's been fantastic. That's been incredible success.
It has,
We've had accordion players on for India and things, and all sorts of things. It's just amazing. It's been magic. It's been really, really worthwhile. Right, do you fancy, you got any more tunes? What are you going to give us?
Yeah. Have you time for another set?
Aye, yeah, there we go.
Okay, well, we'll play
We'll speak to you quickly before you go. Well, this is the nice thing about running your own show, isn't it, Ross? We can do what we want.
There's no bouncers coming to kick you out.
If Karen gets too fed up right enough, she can just switch us off through there, and that's the end of it.
Well,
surprised that's not happened, actually.
With us. What are you giving us?
We're going to play some traditional, quite old Scottish tunes that we would have played. We might have even played these tunes with yourself, Peter, and certainly with other people back in the day in Edinburgh. So it's New Claret, which is associated with Leith. I think that's quite an old tune in the Athol collection. I think that's in. Then Strathspey Dunemains, also well-established old tune. And then to finish with a tune that the Irish and the Scots play called Pigtown. So just a wee reel. So just a wee medley.
Magic. Super.
Okay, 2, 3, and.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Really nice harmonies. Good.
Thank you.
Ross, Did you see Anna Wendy there when she was playing? Did you see her smiling?
Yeah.
Yeah, just like you always do.
Yeah, and I've got a bit of thing with the small pipes. We had Ross Miller on last week, who looks like the happiest man in the world playing his instrument. And unfortunately, I've tried to work myself out of it. I can't even make eye contact. You know, I can't. Anybody, anything. I've tried, and I tried with the Green Hills, the Scottish Soldier, if you like, and Caledonia, to play two tunes that I could sing along to, and I did it in the flat for weeks and weeks. And I can get like a phrase, I can get like a 2-bar phrase together, but I can't join two. I can't speak and play, or I just have to just concentrate. And that's I guess I might progress from there, but that's what I get slated for. That's what's obvious when I'm playing, as I don't look like I'm enjoying it.
But he's always very smart. You always have a tie on, though, to make up for it.
Okay, that's it. Yeah, no. Honestly, I dipped my toes into academia after at the end of 2016, and it's something that's high up on my list to do in the future. You know, so hopefully, I know I've spoke to you before, Anna.
Wendy, if he goes on the course, do I get commission?
Absolutely not. No way. No way. No.
No way.
No. You can't just get a commission for looking like Daniel Craig coming out the sea.
Last week it was Ross Miller. I don't know if you met Ross, the piper that was on with us last week. And I never noticed it myself until we came on screen, and he was just like a younger me. He had a brown beard and everything. It was so strange.
Yeah. It was odd, actually. It was a strange thing happened.
Yeah.
But academia being the subject, it's something I'm keen to explore in my next stages. So it's great to see that the internet is there for people. It's great to see that huge experience and that's there in US and everywhere else is there.
You would love US, I'm telling you. It's great.
Mm-hmm. So that's great. That's great. It's great to hear. Great for people to hear as well. Encouraging for me too.
What was I going to say? Listen, before you go, guys, Anna Wendy, thank you for coming on tonight as well with Simon. But I'm hoping that you
crashed it a little bit, Peter.
Well, what I am hoping, though, and I was planning in the future, was to have you on as a guest some night as well. So I'll speak to you about that sometime, and I'll drop you a link and we'll get you on some night. And because you've got another musical story to tell, and a very musical family, and involved with the arts and everything, etc. So
maybe really you can get Simon on that night as well.
And you can bring Simon on.
I'll make the tea.
You bring Simon on, and he's to sit back stage. No bother. That'd be brilliant. Listen, guys, thank you so much for giving up your time tonight on a Sunday night.
Yeah, thanks very much.
I enjoyed it. And thanks for having us on.
If you're wanting to look at any more of what Simon and Anna Wendy are doing, if you look on our Facebook page, Simon's bio has links to just about everything in it, and you'll be able to click on them and get in there. Bar that, any questions, if you can't find anything, just email us at Tartan Tunes and we'll put you in the right direction. So the Tartan Tunes one is tartantunes20@gmail.com. And as I say, tonight it's out live. It's recorded on YouTube, so it'll go on the YouTube channel. So if you want to watch it back, it's recorded on Facebook as well, and we're on Twitter and we're on Twitch. So we went on Twitch to try and get in with the young crowd, you see, but I don't think it's really worked yet. We had, how many did we have watching? 3 on Twitch last week or something like that, compared to about 2,000 on Facebook. So it's quite strange.
I was just going to squeeze, Peter, your tunes you played at the start. You played one of the favourite tunes we used to play back in the day, Miss Mary Printy. And when I was hanging out with Catherine and Alien, all the dance band people, we went to the Mishnish in Tobermory, and Emmet Phil was playing, and we learned to. He wrote fiddle harmonies for that tune.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Which was a big hit in the Edinburgh sessions.
Yeah, it's one of Ian's kind of famous tunes. Because I played piano with Ian's band for a couple of years, And it was a great experience, that actually, because he was really, really, he knew what he was doing, and he'd been in the business for a long time, and it was kind of old school, and it was a good upbringing into the music, if you get what I mean. And then doing sessions and doing everything. But I'm not one of these people that kind of divides dance bands and folk music. That does happen sometimes. People go, I kind of tend to think it all comes from the same place. It comes from the same source, and it's just presented differently. So I quite like everybody's presentation of everything kind of style thing. So it's really good. So, but Anna Wendy, we'll get you back on some other night. Simon, thank you so much. It's been brilliant having you on. It's been fantastic.
Well, a pleasure. And if people are interested, we've got a new January start now so if people wanted to do a masters in the new year's resolution, just click on the link and get in touch.
Really interesting courses to do.
Fantastic.
And I could see Ross packing his bags and moving out to Uist.
I've got a family in South Uist. That wouldn't be too hard to do.
Oh, there you
go. Down in Askenash, yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. Sorted. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. Thanks again. Take care of each other.
Great stories.
Have a great Christmas and New Year when it gets there, guys.
Okay. Thank you now.
See you. Thanks again. See you now. There we go. Lovely people.
Great, eh?
Lovely couple. Lovely musicians.
Yeah.
No, they were absolutely amazing people for somebody like myself that had never considered even doing a degree or anything like that. I always thought that would have been way beyond me. But these kind of people are there to help you through it, and really brilliant. They were fantastic help. You were supported the whole way through the whole thing, which is really good.
And I know, when I did my HNC in Glasgow, I know that I can't remember the last time I touched any form of academia before that, really. Yeah. My job was technical. The support through all that was very, very easy to do.
So I would definitely advise anybody that's wanting to do something, and especially in these climes when there's maybe not a lot of options going about for people as well. Why not just better yourself and go it that way?
Mm-hmm. And then proved that it's doable. You've trialed. What is it? 2016.
I started 2014. I was the first on the course that new course started, and I'd done 2 years, and then I had to take a year out because of ill health, and then I went back to it and done the third and fourth year, and finished. And then I've done kind of half of the masters. I've got half of it done, so it's great. It's good though. But anyway, folks, thank you very much for tonight again. I do hope you've enjoyed yourselves. I have. It's been great meeting these people like Mick Foster and Moira. They're folk that you've just known all your life, kind of style thing, and get to speak to them is wonderful.
Yeah,
really, really nice.
Really nice. Good to hear all the stories and how all the links went. Incredible to hear.
It's when Mick said he was initially taught by a nun. There can't be that many people that their first lesson was by a nun.
Yeah, and we could have had Mick on for the whole night because there was like the 50 albums, 30 million CDs, but he was on top of the pops. He was like top of the Ireland charts for years. He had number ones in New Zealand, Australia, South Africa.
Yeah, just incredible, absolutely incredible. Yes, but brilliant guests all around. Fantastic.
You weren't bad yourself, Peter. Actually,
what's that? Sorry,
I said you weren't bad yourself either. That polo shirt's really up the game there, I must say.
I'll put the tie. I've got a tie as well. I will put it on some night. But the polo shirt looks rather good, folks. This is more of the merchandise that we could be offering in January.
Yeah.
Ties.
We'd like to fundraise through merchandise next year.
Yeah, that would be a good way. Any money we make on it, we give to charity. That would be brilliant.
Everybody that spoke to me so far said mugs. Mugs is I think there's enough mugs in this show.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
But I do think a Tartan Tunes coffee mug would be a big seller, I think.
And the other thing that's out now as well is the Tunes in the House book.
Yes.
Which is fantastic. The Tunes in the House music book is out now, folks. Get onto the webpage and order it. That's a great idea. See, they've got a thing on it. You can scan the little code and what page you're looking at, and that brings up the video of the band playing it for that one, so you can play along with it and hear it and everything. Magic idea.
That's maybe we should do a separate thing, promotion.
I think we will. We'll do a Tunes in the House book night. I think we will.
Yeah.
And talk about it all. And we'll maybe do a Wednesday night some night and just have a wee bit longer and speak through that, because it's a fantastic thing, just to show folk how easy it is to work with. So,
and I think that's the future. It's incredible that it's not been thought about before.
Yeah, but these guys have got it happen.
These guys absolutely nailed it. They've absolutely
the Martin McLeod have got it under control now.
Yeah, they've got it. They've perfected what's needed.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, right, I'm away to have a glass of water. So it's good night from me.
Yep. And a good night from Peter.